EU wants to attack, EU wants to win, EU wants to scare, but EU has to eat. And it seems like EU will have to tick one of the boxes soon. We will tell you all about it, but before that, if you're a fan of non-corporate funded free news and analysis, landed on the right YouTube channel. We publish 3 videos a day, first at 9:15 a.m. EST, second at 1:30 p.m. EST, and the third at 5:30 p.m. EST. So without further ado, let's begin. The commitment of NATO's European members to support Ukraine amidst its conflict with Russia has led to substantial financial outlays. These nations have transferred tens of billions of euros in weaponry and ammunition as part of a US-led initiative. This endeavor, however, has culminated in considerable economic strain for these countries, manifesting in escalated budget deficits and the forfeiture of their most economic and reliable energy sources. Further compounding these financial challenges is the requirement for these NATO countries to augment their defense spending to meet the alliance's target of 2% of GDP. According to research conducted by the IFO Institute in Germany, this necessitates an additional expenditure of 56 billion euros, that's $60.8 billion. The Munich-based think tank has highlighted that several of NATO's most significant contributors are currently besieged by domestic debt levels exceeding 100% of GDP, in conjunction with unprecedented budget deficits amidst a broader economic downturn impacting the Eurozone. Specifically, nations such as Germany, Spain, Italy, and Belgium are bracing for considerable fiscal shortfalls in 2024. Germany anticipates a budget deficit of 17 billion euros, with Spain, Italy, and Belgium projected to encounter deficits of 11 billion euros, 10.8 billion euros, and 4.6 billion euros, respectively. Particularly alarming is Italy's expectation that its 7.2% deficit will lead to interest expenses for government borrowing to surge to 9% of all revenues this year. Marcel Schlepper, an economist with the IFO Institute, underscores the limited flexibility for countries grappling with high debt levels and interest costs to accrue additional debt. The viable alternative, reducing expenditure in other sectors, is fraught with difficulties. Schlepper cites Germany's attempt to cut subsidies on agricultural diesel, which met with substantial public protest, as an illustrative example of the challenges inherent in reallocating budgetary resources under such constraints. European Union countries are confronting a challenging fiscal landscape exacerbated by significant budget overruns and escalating debt levels. The situation is further complicated by impending fiscal regulations from Brussels. These new mandates require member states to reduce their budgets significantly to adhere to a 3% annual deficit limit and strive towards a debt-to-GDP ratio of 60%. Failing to comply with these thresholds could result in sanctions from the European Commission. This directive places considerable pressure on EU nations, particularly as 13 out of the EU's 27 member states, among which are key players such as Germany, France, and Italy, currently exceed the 60% debt-to-GDP benchmark. Additionally, within the broader context of NATO, only 11 of its then 30 member countries, 8 of whom are also EU members, have succeeded in meeting the alliance's defense spending target of 2% of GDP in 2023. This convergence of fiscal austerity measures and defense spending mandates underscores a period of stringent financial recalibration for these nations. The 56 billion euros gap in NATO's European defense spending closely aligns with the 51 billion euros in military support these countries have allocated to Ukraine amidst the conflict with Russia over 2 years, as per the Kale Institute for the World Economy. That's a practical comedy playing. This expenditure has sparked debate, especially when considering that without such financial outlays to Kiev, the EU could have feasibly bolstered its defense spending for 3 years consecutively without fiscal strain. This situation has intensified scrutiny on European leaders, advocating a stringent stance against Russia amid reductions in social spending and as economies face downturns. Particularly, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen faced criticism last month for her remarks suggesting Europeans should adjust to increase defense spending at the expense of social programs, highlighting a contentious shift in priorities amidst ongoing geopolitical tensions. We did a dedicated video for the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen. You've got to watch this video to understand how stupid this lady is.